Hey, everybody, it's Tim Gillette here with the Tim Gillette Show. Another great episode in our 100 interviews in 30 days. Today, I'm going to bring to you a special friend and guest star, I'm going to call today because I can, all right, is my good friend LaWanna Parker. And LaWanna and I have known each other now for, I think, about 4 years. We met through a couple people, but one of them was Tanya Hoffman, the speaker. It was the Public Speakers Association. Another one is my good friend Katrina Sawa up in her neck of the woods. And you know what I mean? It's people that we've known along the way that connected us. And then now LaWanna has come to Blog and Video Con. Right. I've met her out at my mentors thing, Craig Duswalt's event as well. And we've become great friends. She's in my mastermind. She's an Inner Circle member now for a year. All right, doing great things out in her part of town, which I'm sure we'll talk about today. Without further ado, let me bring LaWanna Parker on. Hey, LaWanna Parker, how you doing?
Great, Tim, and thank you so much for having me on your show. This is awesome.
Were you ready to be on a podcast?
Well, I do a podcast, but this is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I wasn't quite ready.
It's funny because, so often I think we do things that we're not ready for. And I'm pretty sure you're going to talk that as your story comes out today is, you know what I mean? There's so often we feel like, oh man, I'm not ready to do this, but okay, I committed. So I guess I got to go on stage and do it. Sound familiar?
Yes, it does. There's quite a few things I've done in the past where I had no idea what I was doing, but I let someone convince me that, you can do that. You just have to step out there. And it's great when you have somebody behind you that will push you, because it's so easy to sit back and go, oh, wait a minute, I don't have the skills. Wait. So great to have people you can trust and count on that going to be there to hold you up. Hold you up to the fire.
Well, it's good, and I've enjoyed having you for them. You know what I mean? It is almost a year that you've been in our mastermind, and I kind of like having you on there. So, it's cool. It's neat. We talk almost on a weekly basis. It seems like almost every week you get on and on the call, and it's like you've got something going on. All right, you always seem to have something going on. I don't know.
The story of my life.
Yeah.
Started with my mom.
All right. Well, LaWanna, first of all, let me get into this. All right. What you do now. I mean, because if we had to define it, all right, as to what you do and who you are right now, if we could define it in a sentence, what would it be?
I'm an author, a speaker, blogger, and podcaster. That's it.
So, and if we could tell the world in one sentence, how you use those skills to help them change, what would that be?
Stories.
I
share stories on my blog, and many times the stories have something to do with some incident that has occurred to me, but I don't always share it as in my situation. I just got to make it a story and hope that somebody can pick up on it and it helps them in some way. So communicating, whether it's speaking or writing, is something I've come to really, really love and cherish.
So, and about how many speeches are you doing? Well, other than right now, how many speeches are you doing a year right now?
Well, I had made this commitment for this year that I would do a minimum of 4 a month, and I was doing really good. In fact, I had 5 this month that got canceled.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen next month. We'll just wait and see, but everybody is holding off. Most things are being pushed to May or June, so we'll see what's going on.
Being pushed out. All right. Do you have any of your own that you've had to cancel right now? Like, any personal stuff that you're doing had to be pushed off because of this?
Well, yes, I had started a writing group, and that's been set aside. I can't we can't meet. Of course, we can do it over Zoom, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing. And I may decide I like it so much, maybe I'll leave it on Zoom. But I also have a retreat that's coming up, but that's in August. And I
Mhm.
praying that all of this is going to be over with. I don't know if you were aware, but I lost my nephew this
Mhm.
weekend due to this virus. So it's, I still think it's my personal opinion that it's overhyped, but I do
Mhm.
recognize that it is serious. It is
Mhm.
serious, not something to play around with.
Mhm. Well, I think, I mean, without getting too political, I think everything in our world has a factor that we must consider.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yes, I kind of agree with you that I think this is overhyped. All right, but it does not mean that you don't take precautions. You don't
Exactly.
do things like to research and how to better yourself. All right, in
Mhm.
the age of when we can Google anything,
True.
yeah, why can't we Google how do I take care of myself in this tough time? All right,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we should. But anyway, uh, so Luana, I know that you're a great speaker. All right, I've seen you speak. I've seen you do things. All right, I've seen you coach and mentor people. Um, but it came with, I mean, I'm sure there's some history before you got here. All right. I'm sure there's a story considering you're in the story business. Can you take us through some of your story?
Actually, this coaching thing is all totally new, as far as I'm concerned. In calling it that,
Mm-hmm.
I was doing it back in the day when we just called it helping people. So there were children that I used to work with, teenagers, who had nothing to do and were constantly getting into some type of trouble. And I started doing a personal development program with them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited that they turn out all right, those kids. And one of them actually wrote a personal note to me a couple of years ago when she saw on Facebook it was my birthday, saying she thanked me and appreciated so much the work that I had done with them, and because of the confidence that she had gained being a part of my little program, she now works with kids over in Jamaica, helping them to learn to read and write. So that was kind of nice to hear from her to say something like that. But I just like helping people, and I never thought about it as a way of making money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for me, that's how it started out. There were people who helped me along the way, and there was some where, had I listened, I'd be in a different place today.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Mhm.
and Luana, I mean, what did you go through any special classes or anything like that that made you kind of officiate what you do now, or was this something you just said, okay, I'm going to do this?
Actually, I did take a class with a woman. In fact, the first time I met her was at it was at one of those seminars. Uh, It was a speakers summit, and she was there. I was introduced to her, and she told me that she had gotten into uh, teaching people, teaching them how to coach and things like that. So I thought, well, okay, what the heck? I went to some of her programs. I enjoyed what I saw, but what I did was I started comparing myself to others and thinking, oh, wait a minute, I'm not there. And so it really held me back for quite a while in doing that. Please, whatever you do, if there's something you want to do, do it. Don't
Mm-hmm.
compare yourself to anyone else because we're all unique and special in our own way. And we bring to the table different qualities. What I bring, there's somebody out there looking for it. What you
Mm-hmm.
bring, my people may not be looking for, but there's others who are looking for what you have to offer. But I fell into that trap of comparing myself to others. Helped me back for quite a while. But I enjoy stepping out there now. I have people who turn to me, if for no other reason that I'm a seasoned citizen, and they figure I must have some knowledge that they haven't reached yet. So being a seasoned citizen helps.
Yeah, and I find it interesting in my mastermind. More than half of my mastermind is older than me, or seasoned, shall we say? Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
um,
and I believe I'm the oldest one on your in your group.
Oh, yeah. I don't know who's the oldest. I don't compare because you know what I mean. The older people are women, and you don't ask women their age. Well, I do, but you know, most people don't. um,
We just have a great time when we're with you, Tim. We truly appreciate you.
oh well, thanks.
Mhm.
It is kind of great, Luana, to see people though and watch their growth throughout the years. All right, as I said, it's about 4 years ago you and I met for the first time, and I've watched you grow over the past 4 years. But I know you've had a couple of tough setbacks over the past 4 years. Would you mind sharing them with some of my audience?
Yes, I lost my mother. Um, and actually, I lost my mother just before I met you. Then I lost my husband last year. That was tough.
Mhm.
It caught us off guard because he was doing so well. He had had cancer 11 years prior to it coming back this time, and that 11 years ago was when the doctor said he had 6 months.
Mm,
He challenged him that 6 months. He says, "Until God tells me my time is up, I'm not accepting that." So
mm,
we got 11 years, 11
yeah.
years. And then when it came back sudden and fast. And we didn't have much time to do anything. He couldn't even fight it because his blood pressure and his heart rate would not cooperate so that they could do those things that he needed to do in order to fight it.
Wow.
Mhm.
So, I mean, with the setbacks, I mean, did you did you use that as something to drive you, or did you use that as something that you know what I mean to make you? Well, I don't know if I want to yet.
You know what? I had mixed feelings. Um, I knew that he wanted me to do what I wanted to do, and at the same time, I felt guilty
Hmm.
because I still wanted to do those things after he had passed. So there was that guilt trip that I had to forgive myself for because he wouldn't have wanted that. It
Hmm.
was I fell into that trap years ago when I lost my son. I had been very active then doing things, and when he passed, I just dropped everything. It was suddenly like I didn't exist anymore.
Mm,
And I didn't want that to happen this time. Um, and it was the strangest thing because I was on my way to your conference when I met this lady at the gas station who told me that your husband wants you to go on with your life. I've
mm,
never seen this woman before, haven't seen her since. But she told me, she says, your husband wants you to know that he wants you to go on with your life and not to be thinking about woulda, shoulda, coulda.
hmm.
And it was like, okay, he's talking to me, or God's talking to me. Somebody's telling me I should move on. But I kind of move slow.
Hmm.
Most people know I'm a slow mover.
Well, I
I
mean,
move
that's okay.
slow.
You're
I
moving.
just keep moving, but I move slow.
Yeah, it's okay. You are moving. You
Hmm.
know, there's people who aren't moving, so you may move slow, but you're moving. Uh,
Yeah.
um, so I mean, so you've worked past. I mean, you lost your husband. All right, you moved past that. All right, into stepping out now as a speaker and stepping out on stage. Do you use that in your message? All right, of you know what I mean? Because I know you've helped a lot of your clients with confidence, but do you use that as your own stepping point to go, hey, and be vulnerable and go, this is how I'm being confident right now.
I wasn't at first, but then I realized that there may be someone else out there who experienced something what I did. And I'm
Hmm.
going to share this with you because uh, I was blessed to have married a good man, and we were together over 50 years. And we, I never had any problem with him coming home and taking care of his responsibilities.
Hmm.
But he didn't have insurance.
Mm,
And I didn't question him about that because I figured it was something he would do. And for me to be asking him would sound like I was trying to rush him away. So I didn't question him. And I had to share that with people because I told them how important it is. You need to talk. Husband and wives need to talk about things like that. Um, I was not prepared to be caught uh, without that additional funds.
Mm-hmm.
So, it made a big difference and a lot of adjustments that had to be made. And it was difficult. And so I had to share that with people and let them know that as much as I loved him, he did let me down in that area because he did not prepare for that.
Mm.
And so I talk about that. And sometimes I share other things, personal things that I didn't before. And then I share fun things like me asking God for only sons and him sending me four boys who all like sports, and I'm not into sports.
Wow.
So I went to a lot of games in which I had no idea what was going on because I was not interested in sports.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That that I'm not a big sports fan or anything, but I mean my wife is hugely into basketball and likes the Dallas Mavericks. So as it became a family event, where now I go to watch the Mavericks,
Mhm,
and I think I almost um I almost like or understand what's going on, but I don't. And
mhm,
now on occasion, if it's on TV, I'll sit and watch it now. But it's before that, I just didn't know anything about it. Um, I watch football, but I still don't know all the stuff going on
mhm,
in football. I watched the Super Bowl this year. It was a fun Super Bowl to
mhm.
watch, but yeah, I get you. I get you on that. Anyway.
Uh-huh. In fact, one time I went to the game. I was coming late because I had to work that day, and I told the kids, "Okay, I'll meet you there."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm running into the thing. I don't pay attention to what side is sitting where, and I find a vacant seat, and I sit there. I see my son do something, and people are yelling and jumping, and calling his name and whatnot. So I jump up, and I realize I'm the only one. I'm the only one jumping up because I'm on the wrong side. Oh, shoot. Oh gosh, but yeah, I had some interesting times with my children. Interesting time working with other people's kids. Uh, at one time, I did beauty pageants, and my girls, whenever they were invited someplace to as a guest, I always took them because I promised their parent I wouldn't let anything happen to their children. So I would take them to wherever they went, and then I bring them home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was some great times, interesting things that happened in those back in those days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm,
Well, Luana, it's what I mean. We all seem to have a journey, and we all seem to be on it. All right, you seem to be enjoying your journey and helping others do it. What is some things that you help your clients with specifically?
well, I just had a group ask me to work with them on writing their book,
Mm-hmm.
and they had lots of questions, and um, it was interesting because I didn't realize how much knowledge I had until they started asking questions that I could answer.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very informative for me as well as for them, enough so that they've asked me to come back again. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to that. Um, I have a I have a sister who I'm trying to push out there. In fact, she was planning on coming to your conference this year, but I'm trying to get her out there because she has such knowledge and she knows a great deal, but she has not stepped out on this area,
Mm-hmm.
and she's not sure of herself. So, but I have confidence that she'll be great at what she does. Um, I'm kind of the background person who in helping a lot of people. I've actually been the photographer for people. Um, I support people. I nurture them into doing what they want to do. And many times when they call and they talk to me they want to know, oh, well, should I be doing this? And I'll start asking them questions. Well, how do you feel about it? Is it something you feel that you could do if everything went right? And when we get to talking, before they know it, they're actually giving me the information that they already have within themselves that they hadn't even thought about before. And they're able to go out there and do it. So I watched a number of people who have gone out there. In fact, I had one client. This was when I first started doing this, and she had approached me. Someone had referred her, and we talked about what she should do. She wanted to be a coach and mentor to a group of people, but she was from another country, and she felt that the women needed to understand that in this country they could do things that they couldn't back home. But she wasn't sure how her husband was going to take it, and she was married to an American guy. And I told her, I said, "Well, have you talked to him?" She said, "Well, no, because I'm afraid he might tell me he doesn't want me to do it. He always wants me to go with him wherever he goes." I said, "Well, why don't you sit down and talk to him about how important this is to him and explain to her that for a while, this is going to take all of your attention, but you're not forgetting him. You just have to concentrate on getting this going." And then she said, "Okay, I could do that." I said, and she said, "But where can I have it? Because I don't have money to go to these hotels and things." And I inquired about where she lived, and come to find out she has a nice house, nice big yard. And I told her, "That's where you start. Have your event, invite the women to your house. If you don't mind them coming to your house, invite them there and start there." And I saw her about 6 or 7 months later at some event. And she came running up to me, gave me this great big old hug, and said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." She said, "Everything is going great." I said, "Everything what?" Because I had forgotten. And she said, "I took your advice. I talked to my husband. He's my number one fan. And I invite these ladies to my house, and we meet every week." And she said, "I now have 18 women who come to my house, and we talk about things, just whatever it will is that's on everyone's mind." And I'm looking at her and I'm going, 18 women. Jeepers, I don't have that.
Mhm.
But she's doing well. And and it gives does your heart good when you know that something you said or done makes a difference in someone else's life.
Yeah, it is such a joy, all right, that some of us don't understand that it's always the littlest things that we do
Hmm.
makes the biggest difference in other people's lives. And it's exactly what it is. I mean, to you, it's like, oh, okay, I helped. To them, it's their world,
Hmm.
and that's just so awesome to hear that you did that for that lady. And that, you know what I mean? And the outcome she got from it is she got her biggest fan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So sometimes, we're afraid. We just need someone who's willing to listen and maybe make some suggestion. Because I never tell people what to do.
Hmm.
I either make a suggestion, or if it's something that that's similar to an experience I've had, I'll share with them. I'll say, "This is what happened to me, and this is how I handle it." I'm not telling you that it's going to work for you, but it's something that you might try and see what happens. And
Hmm.
most of the times, that's all they need. They don't want
Hmm.
you preaching to them. They don't want you belittling them or making them feel like they're not smart enough to come up with these things, because it's already in them. They just need someone to kind of gently pull it out there.
Hmm. Hmm. So I mean that brings up, in your own life, all right. I know you helped her with her, her fear, but in your own life, has there been a fear that you had to get over and deal with? And how did you, on the other side, how did you feel after you dealt with
Oh, yes. My greatest fear was always measuring up.
it?
As I
Hmm.
said, comparing myself to others. uh, because that was, as much as I love my mother, and I thought she was a great woman. She did some terrific things. She took care of us when she could have just dumped us off someplace. And she did some wonderful things in her life, but she did one thing that uh, she might not even realize that she was doing, and that was that she compared me to other kids. Because if I didn't do something the way she saw somebody else doing that she thought was good, she would say something like, "Well, how come you can't be like? Or why can't you do this like?" I don't know if she realized what she was doing, but it always had an effect on me, and I found myself as I was growing up comparing myself to other people. Am I doing this as like other individual? Am I as good, or am I falling short? I mean, I had all these little doubts. Well, in choosing to uh, go out into the world on my own these last few years after I was no longer working, um, those doubts started coming again. I thought I had defeated them, but they started popping up again. And that has been one of the biggest battles for me. It's a constant battle that I fight all the time. It's not over. It's something I have to be aware of when I want to do something. Don't look at what somebody else has done. Just go ahead and do it. And you know, when I can push it aside, things work. So that's a battle for me that I probably will be fighting the rest of my life. But I'm aware of it, and that makes me as I said in my book when I talked about fear. I said fear came knocking at the door, and stupid me, I opened the door and said, "Come on in." so so now when those self doubts or those comparisons come up, knocking on the door, now I just said, "Too late. I've already made my decision,"
Yeah, yeah, that's
and
good.
closed the door.
It's good that it's good that we learn. All right. It's sad in some cases that we have to sometimes repeat our mistakes so many times before we learn. And that I mean, come on, I've made the mistake so many darn times in my life going, okay, you repeated that mistake again. Why didn't you learn the last time? uh,
Sometimes it takes more than one time to learn.
Yeah, yeah. So, LaWanna, what are some things that you like to do for fun? All right, some adventuresome things you do. All right, some unique things that you do.
Mm. I actually crochet. I can't do anything fancy, but I can make blankets, and I tend to make different color. I never know what color is going to end up being when I start. But I do some crocheting. That's kind of a fun thing I can do while looking at television when I
Hmm.
have the time to do that. But the most people say the unique thing that I do would probably be the fact that I love to read my romance stories. I absolutely love romance stories. And I don't know if you can see it, but there are three bookshelves behind me. There's one over here. There's four in my bedroom. There's two in the washroom. And don't let me get started on the laptop. There's over 8,000 books on my laptop. Seriously. You know,
Hmm.
and they're also on my phone. So I no longer have to carry a sack of 10 or 12 books. Now I carry almost the whole house.
Wow. Um, yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, some of us when we get into something, you really get into it.
Mhm. I honestly I do. It started when I was a kid of putting myself in the story. I become part of whatever story I'm reading.
Hmm.
So as I tell people, I've experienced some of everything. I've been in the Civil War, the Crimean War. I've been in uh, the when William the Conqueror conquered England, and I've been to outer space and lived on other planets. I've had umpteen husbands and things. uh, that's how much I enjoy reading. And I was reading over an assignment that I did a few years ago, just earlier today, as a matter of fact, when the teacher asked me what was one of the things that you disliked about authors. And I told her about an author who wrote a book about a pirate who had captured this woman. And after a few weeks at sea, he had permitted her to mingle with the other crew. And they were teaching her how to use a sword. Well, when they were attacked, this woman is fighting seasoned guys and she's winning. That didn't resonate with me.
Mm.
She's only been learning to fight for a few weeks, and yet she's going to conquer people who have been doing it almost all their lives. And then I thought, well, I'll give her another chance. So when she wrote another book, she did the same thing with a woman who was captured by these Native Americans, and they had taught her to track and hunt.
Hmm.
And then they put her to the test, and she beats out the Indians who've been doing it since they're kids.
Yeah. Wow.
So I said, okay, that's enough. I will not buy another one of her books. She lost a paying customer. You
Wow.
cannot give me a story that's unrealistic.
Aha. Good point to remember there. Unrealistic stories don't sell.
No,
Anyway, or at least they don't sell to you.
not to me.
Um, well, LaWanna, it's been kind of cool getting to know you. Let's see what some of the people were leaving comments here. Let's see what they're saying, and then see if we got questions or anything from the audience. So, my buddy Alfredo saying hi and checking in. And he actually said this. He purchased life insurance for his family. We talked about insurance and stuff. That's a good thing there. So,
Yeah.
Good things that what I mean. Alfredo, great watcher of our show and everything, and he's left a couple comments there. So appreciate you, Alfredo, for stopping in and seeing us today. Before I go into my fun section here, I do have to say, I mean, we've got your website going across the bottom there, but I want you to say it for everybody because we are going to reuse the audio and put this out on a podcast.
Okay. Well, with this new year, I made some decisions, and the main decision was that I was going to go back to doing the blog and the podcasting. So I've started my blog up again. I have nothing to do since we're quarantined at home. So I decided to start the blog back up, and it's called LaWanna'sBlog.com. I have some stories on there. I challenged myself to do one a day for the next 30 days to get me back into the writing habit. The next thing is to redo the podcast again, because I stopped all of that last year after I lost my husband, and I just didn't do those things. I kept doing other things, but I didn't do those things. So that's going to be starting back up pretty soon, and it'll be LaWanna Speaks, and it's on Anchor. But I also do one with Raven, Raven Media International, and she's got several outlets like iHeart and Apple and into iTunes rather, and some other things. We're actually even on Amazon Fire, or at least we were. Hopefully, they still are. But
well, that's cool that you're actually getting out there and doing stuff and taking this time to actually which I encourage all of you guys to do, is go out there and do something in this time. By all means, create more content during this time, and this is the greatest thing you can do, is create more content.
Now is the time to dream and implement those dreams.
Yep, that's right. So, LaWanna, I have a very interesting way I like to close my show out, and that is I have a little game I like to play called This or That.
Okay, should I fear this game?
You probably should, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to live. So I have a series of a couple of questions that are just, you choose one or the other. All right. I think I got questions based on what I know about you. I think I got questions that I kind of know that you're going to take one side or the other. So, but let's see. All right. I actually have them written down on my handy piece of paper here. So let's start with movies. Do you like to watch movies at home or go to see them in the theater?
At home. Used to be the theater, but at home. Prefer home.
Yeah. How about if you go traveling? Do you like to travel to the mountains or the beach?
I would probably pick the mountains.
Okay. Yeah. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Oh, I'm both. Seriously, I'm both. In between time is a lag for me. I work better at night and first thing in the morning.
Yeah, I don't do early mornings. It is one thing that I just do not want to get up that early. I'm a night guy. I actually will sit at night some nights and write a whole sales funnel. How about this one here? Wine or beer?
Ooh, that's a toughie. What makes this tough, because I really don't drink alcohol. But after my grandson, who I raised, became an adult, my brother had left a case of beer here, and I put some in the refrigerator, and I had one, and it tasted pretty good. But I kind of like wine, and I'm going to name drop here, Arbor Mist, because it's more like Kool-Aid.
Well, usually when it comes into, like, if someone says beer, then I go, okay, do you like craft brews? Or you like your regular brews? If you like wine, do you like red or white? So it's like, you can always, I can always take a topic like that and then divide it into another topic altogether.
Oh God, which is really crazy in this day and age. But I don't even alcohol doesn't cross my mind. It rarely does. And usually it's because I've either seen a commercial or somebody come by and say, "Oh, I brought some wine. Let's talk."
Mm-hmm.
So no, I don't really drink, but those are the two that I do enjoy when I do.
Well, that's good. So then we got one here: fall or spring.
I guess I have to go with spring since I was born in the spring. Yeah, that's a good time. It's neither cold nor hot. It's a nice, enjoyable time.
Unless
But
you're stuck with spring inside the house because we're all in quarantine. Just saying. Seems to fit right about now. Going to one of my favorites here when we get into a little bit of food. Hamburger or taco?
Hamburgers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, I'm a hamburger guy. I like tacos.
Mustard. No secret sauce, no ketchup, no special sauce, but mustard.
Okay. So that in a hamburger, there's the crowd that likes mustard and the crowd that likes mayo.
No, I don't want any of those other things. Mustard.
Yeah. So I mean, here in Texas, we can ask now because we have them both now: is In or Out or Whataburger? All right, and I like In and Out better, but boy, I found out Whataburger's secret menus, and I like Whataburger too now. So I've got one here that's a little edgy right now. Can cause some wars in our country right now. All right, and that is toilet paper, under or over.
How did that?
I told you I had some doozies in here.
Now, how did we go to war over toilet paper? I took my client because I work with seniors, and so I took my client shopping, and we went to look for the paper. There was none there, so I asked the lady. She said, "Well, we might have some more this afternoon." How on earth did that become? I'd have thought it would have been food.
Yeah, I mean too. But anyway, so you like it over or under?
Over.
Nah.
It rose easier.
I don't think I've had an under person on the call yet, and I'm waiting to see when we get one. So what happens? But that has caused some wars in some households. So anyway, that's today's this or that list. And there we go. I told you we'd have a little bit of fun on this, LaWanna.
Hey, this was exciting. Thank you for bringing me on. I was dreading this.
Oh, don't ever dread it. Podcasts, they're fun.
Let's reschedule this.
Nope. So, well, anyway, one more time, we're going to tell everybody your website so they can find you, and I'll put it up there on the screen. But why don't you tell them what it is again?
It's LaWanna'sblog.com. And if you go there, don't look for a niche because I write whatever happens to come on my mind for the day.
Okay.
It may be a tip. It might be a story of something that happened. The other day I wrote a poem, put a poem up there that I had written. So whatever comes on my mind, that's what I'm going to write about. I just call it a fun blog.
Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes that's what you got to do. All right. I mean, my original blog, I did the same thing. I wrote about what was on my mind for a long time. Mm-hmm. So anyway, LaWanna, I thank you for coming to our show. It has been a great pleasure getting to know you better on camera and having a few laughs, a few story shares, a few heartfelts. It's all in one show. It seemed we did do it.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for inviting me. And please say hello to your mom and your wife for me. I really enjoy each time that I've been in their company. And this is great. Thank you so much, Tim.
Cool. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and close this out then here. Guys, LaWanna Parker, you got to go follow her. LaWanna's Parker. Go follow her on social media sites and everything. All right. If this is your first time watching, hit the subscribe button. Make sure that you get notifications when we go live with these other guests that are coming out. And go to timgilletteshow.com. All right, if you want to find out past episodes. And we're also on Anchor FM right now. All right, so you can see the audio and our YouTube channel. I thank you guys for coming out today, and I will look forward to seeing you next time when I have another great guest. Tim Gillette. Bye.